Hi, Dr. Lee. It's Bettina Carey here for We Empower You, and we are hosting the Women's Empowerment Summit now, We Empower You Summit, a virtual summit which you are going to be on the stage of, where we're going to help folks shatter their revenue glass ceiling. So, can you tell me a little bit about yourself so that the folks in the audience can learn a little bit more about you?
I'm so excited to be here with you, Bettina. Thank you for welcoming me into this wonderful summit. And hello,
Absolutely.
everyone who is about to join us for this magnificent summit. My name is Dr. Christine Lee. I'm a clinical psychologist in New York, now working virtually from home, but I'm also online as procrastination coach. And I, for the past 10 plus years, have been working very diligently to help people like you, professionals, working women, to break through the resistance that they have inside. Whatever fear is holding you back, whatever delay, whatever thought of avoiding things that you have to do in the world, that's my area. That is my zone of genius. I help people to really understand what's holding them back, and I support people until they get their dream out into the world. I help people to just basically abandon their procrastination so that they can take back their time, get their energy dialed in towards their goals, and so that they can actually achieve them and help the world in the process.
That is fantastic. And I was having a thought earlier today that I only wish I had known you and what procrastination meant in my life about 25 years ago. When I
Yes, you
set
and
out
me
on a
both.
journey, yes, I set out on a journey. I have documentation since the late 90s about wanting to bring women together in a marketplace using a website platform in order to help them grow their revenue in their business. 27 years in the making, in terms of supporting women in business. And then since the late 90s, literally looking for the right solution. Now that I've actually broken through my procrastination, and I'm, it's amazing what's occurring for me. I mean, there's all kinds of opportunities that are unfolding. And in addition to that, the revenue glass ceiling has been shattered in my life. So thank you so much. I got to meet you through Tamara Fleming,
Yes,
my first and original coach back in the 2000s.
yeah.
And when she helped me to bust through some clutter clearing and chaos. And of course, I've used her techniques over the years, but it was a pleasure to meet you back then, this last year. And when we were talking about procrastination, what is at the bottom of procrastination?
Well, actually, simplicity is one of the ways out. So that's a little bit giving away some of the answers. And that's what Tamara does so beautifully. And I'm glad you were able to work with her. She's a wonderful person. And I would say at the root of it all is fear. And oftentimes we don't even know which fear we're actually being held back by. It's just this amorphous feeling of anxiety. I happen to be a clinical psychologist as well. So I'm really sharply tuned in to any fear vibrations that are coming from my clients and students and patients, because I hear when people are afraid because they're not sounding themselves. They're not sounding like their words are really flowing through them. They're kind of being more hesitant or kind of giving me the reasons why it's so hard or why it's but, or what if. There are certain language patterns that are very obviously indicating that the person is holding them back. So I would say the simple answer is fear. And of course, it's a lot more complicated than that because we are all so complicated as individuals. We know how to hide our fears. We know how to disguise them. We know how to ignore them. We know how to deny them. And so whichever path you happen to be on, let's just take a look at your path. Why did you develop it that way? What is it getting you? What are the advantages of being on a fear path instead of the full straight
Yeah.
path? And then when
Yeah.
you get that support and when you get that light bulb shining on your path, you could say, okay, no more of this running around, running myself in circles and making myself exhausted. I'm just going to go get what I want. And I see that's what you've been doing in gathering women from around the world and just doing what your heart really has wanted you to do for so many years.
Yes, and I have to say, I had so many really great arguments about why I hadn't done it yet. And I'm sure you've heard a line or two from people who, they can make up such a great story or great yarn about why they haven't pursued a particular dream, and they let these fears get in the way. So I had a very interesting experience when I went to Costa Rica last year, and I was there for about 6 days of the 8 that I was going to be there, when something just jumped out of the water and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I looked at my friend who had joined me, and she looked at me and started coming towards me because I had the life vest on and she did not, and we couldn't figure out what was in the water. We managed to get out and we went to the beach, and the people there said, when we asked what was it, they said, "Oh, that was a snake." And to which I replied, "Snake? Oh my holy God, I was worried about sharks." I'm in the ocean. I'm worried about sharks, not snakes. What the heck? That night, we ended up going to the pool, and we started talking about these snakes. And people said, "Oh, yes, those are poisonous snakes, and they will kill you. Will be dead in about 20 minutes. And I said, "Poisonous snakes? Oh my holy God." I had no idea that there was poisonous snakes in the ocean where I was swimming, lollygagging in the beach there days before. And of course, the very next day, I stayed in the swimming pool. That night, someone says to me, "Oh, don't fall asleep on the chase lounge because there's a python that likes to come around there." Oh my holy God, there's a python on the condo property that likes to lay down in the chase lounge. Oh my gosh, fear, fear, fear. So then we changed beaches. We went to another beach, and I decided that I would walk the beach because I still was terrified now of going in the water. I ended up seeing one of these snakes lying on the beach dying. And I looked at the mouth and I realized there was absolutely no way that snake could bite anything. And I discovered that the fangs were in the back of the mouth. I saw the snake, I saw what the snake represented, and then I saw the children that were from the residents there lying in the water and playing around with their parents nearby, of all ages, young and old. And I thought to myself, why are they allowing their babies in the water if there's these poisonous snakes and they can bite them? Well, the reality is that snake rarely ever causes a death because the fangs are in the back of the throat and it has a very tiny, tiny mouth. So the very next day, I faced what I call and is called false evidence appearing real, fear. And it forever changed my life because I went in the water. Of course, I had my hands all cupped together because I didn't want to get bitten by this little mouth. And I got in and I spent the rest of my hours there in Costa Rica enjoying myself because I was able to break through that fear. And I've had similar experiences where I had a fear of opening up the garage door to see what was buried behind the garage door, only to find my dreams buried back there. Again, fear that I might fail, fear that I might not succeed. So I'm very much looking forward to your presentation where we will be diving deep into your session on procrastination. And so thank you so much. Is there anything more you can add about what folks can expect to hear?
Sure. Well, I just wanted to comment about your wonderful story about the snakes in Costa Rica. I'm so glad you were able to overcome that particular fear. And as I was listening to your story, I was hearing how, the more you pay attention to your fear, the more you feel that it's going to come alive and be activated, the smaller your range of motion gets, that you had to move away, that you literally moved to a small swimming pool, choosing that instead of the ocean. And it's just such a great metaphor for what we do with our internal fears, that when we stay too closely allied and in the zone of our imaginary fears inside or our irrational fears, then we limit ourselves. And you're a great example of what happens both on vacation and also in your business when you learn to release those fears, when you learn to act even though you're afraid. There are all sorts of different options for us all. So just know that we've got a lot more to cover in our session. I'm so excited to be with you soon again, and just come on and be ready to do some work with me.
That's great. And you know, what's interesting is the difference of disappearing fear that lasted 10 or 20 years is I was motivated, highly motivated, because I only had 2 days left. If I was going to get in that water, it was going to be now. And so if you can create a limiting window of time where you say, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it no matter what, you can get things done and get beyond procrastination. I got through, you know, here we were going to do a live event June of this year for the Women's Empowerment Summit. We turned it completely virtual. In 10 weeks, I had to climb that summit. We had 24 speakers. Now this year we're going to have, in September, we'll have doubled that number. So I'm very excited about the We Empower You Summit, which also was a name change that we made. It's coming up September the 9th. It's only $17 to attend. Join Dr. Lee and I, among all these other speakers, and you will have a wonderful time and shatter that glass ceiling that's sitting over your head. Break through your procrastination habits, and you will break through your revenue ceiling. Join us at the We Empower You Summit on September the 9th, and we'll see you there. Bye for now.
Bye.